Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about john boats. You know, I already have a big hard-sided blind boat. I also have an 1860 flat bottom with a mud buddy on back. It's got a nice scissor blind on it. But I've always wanted a super dialed, easy to use, run and gun, one-man rig. Something that I can just throw in back of my truck, throw a dozen decoys in, throw my shell box, my gun, put a little mud motor on it, jump in it with the dog, and go up a small creek or a small slough, something that you can't get a big boat into, and something that is just easy to use, that is self-contained and just a one-man show. So I've kind of been on that quest to find that rig. And over the past couple years, I've been looking at numerous different little john boats, and they're all not created equal. You know, I think everyone has had an experience in a small little john boat. They're tippy, they're kind of beat up, they leak. It's something that was sitting behind the barn in the weeds for 20, 30 years. You rolled it over, the transom's rotted, you know, the paint's chipped off of it, and it's just not stable and you don't feel safe in it. So a couple of years ago, back in about 2019, one boat manufacturer, Brunswick Corporation, which owns numerous different brands across the marine industry. They own Hatteras Yachts that makes 100-foot sport yachts. They own Mercury Marine, and they also own Lowe, Crestliner, and Lund. Now, those three brands are synonymous in the fishing world. Lund is a legendary fishing boat brand, as well as the other brands that they have in their portfolio. So back in 2019, Brunswick, which is Lowe, Crestliner, and Lund, they started making, kind of retooled their john boats metric of the sizing that they're making. They started making a 12-footer with a 40-inch bottom. They started making a 10-footer with a 40-inch bottom, and they even started making a 14-footer with a 48-inch bottom and a 40-inch bottom. So I saw that back in about 2019 when I started kind of running this scenario through my head. And back in 2019, they came to market about mid-summer. And there weren't too many out there, and then we go through into 2020 and the pandemic hit. So when the pandemic hit, Brunswick, they kind of pulled back the reins. There was a bunch of supply chain issues. So john boats kind of got put to the side. They kind of put all their efforts into their higher dollar boats, and john boats just weren't in production. So now we fast forward into 2022, and they start firing up the tooling to make john boats again. So when you look at a john boat from Lowe, Lund, Crestliner, they are literally the same, and the only thing that's different is the stickers on the side. They're made at the same plant, they're made out of the same material, the layout is even the same, the paint is even the same. And you might be wondering, well, it's just a john boat. There's just an aluminum boat, it's like a tin can, and that's what it is. There's no frills with a boat like this. And you know, as a waterfall hunter, when you're kind of going out there, you really kind of want to watch how much stuff you bring and watch your weight. Because sometimes some of the places we need to go, you kind of got to traverse a lot of terrain to get there, and weight does become an issue. And that's why I put a lot of thought into landing on this rig. In this video, I'll talk about the motor selection and kind of just a general walkthrough of the boat. But like I said, it's literally, you know, it's like a bunch of aluminum cans melted together, and it's just a john boat. There's no frills. I mean, really the only accessory that comes with this boat is the drain plug. But like I said, there's two flotation pods in back, a seat close to the transom, one kind of midship here in the middle, and then kind of like a half seat in the bottom. But this boat all by itself is about 102 pounds, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something to be super lightweight that I can just slide into the back of my truck and throw a little mud motor on the back, a dozen decoys, my gun, shell box, and the dog, and then zip up to a spot. You know, this isn't going to be a rig that I'm going to cross a small lake or something like that. It's mainly going to be a small water, creek, slough, something along that lines. Something that when I'm going to be by myself and I want to get up. So that's kind of how I landed on this boat. It's kind of been in the works for a couple years, and this is kind of where I landed. I would have got it sooner, but like I said, the pandemic hit, and I've been watching on Marketplace and Craigslist for something like a 1236, but once I knew that they were going to kind of fire up the tooling again to make a 40-inch bottom, I kind of waited to land on this. And like I said, I haven't been out in it yet, but I have been in like a 1236, buddies of mine, and it's fairly stable. You got to remember, this isn't like a 1854 or a 1754 or even a 60-inch bottom boat. So you're not going to have that degree of stability, but you're still going to be able to kind of move around and not feel like you're bobbing and going to tip over. So this is it. This is a 1240 Lowe John boat. And you know, the thing in the John boat world, kind of what everyone has gone to, is when you see 1240 or 1440, the two digits in the front are the length, and then the last two digits are the width of the bottom. So if you hear a 1436, it's a 14-foot long with a 36-inch bottom. So this is a 1240, and I'm pretty anxious to get it out, see what it can do, and shoot some ducks out of it this fall. But like I said, we'll kind of talk a little about my motor selection on back and how I landed on this boat and kind of what I'm going to do to it. There's really nothing that I'm going to do to it. Maybe put some hydro turf on the seats just so, you know, stuff isn't sliding around when you're iced up with your waders and stuff. But we'll kind of walk you around in that, and then we'll do a video of us out on the water with it. So we'll just start here at the transom. Like I said, I don't know, there's not too much explanation on a boat like this because it's literally a tin can. As you can see, this is kind of the interior layout. They kind of have these flotation pods back here built in. I assume there's foam in them. Going forward, you have a bench here, and then kind of a little like half seat in the bow for someone to sit. You know, the Coast Guard specs on this are right here. You have 350 pounds or 3 people. Is kind of what you're limited to. Max horsepower rating of 10. Kind of the total package, you can only have 535 pounds. So you can kind of see that data there. And like I said, this is just kind of the rundown of it. It's literally like a bunch of aluminum cans put together, melted down. You got a nice grab handle in front, just kind of pretty standard. And it's just kind of your basic John boat. And like I said, Lowe, Lawn Crestliner, they're all owned by Brunswick Corporation, and they are literally the same thing. They literally just have different stickers. They must be punched out all at the same factory. The tag on here says that it is made in Lebanon, Missouri, which, you know, I guess is kind of a big boat manufacturer for the Brunswick Corporation. But yep, we got the hull tag here. And like I said, it's just pretty basic. Now what I'm going to show you is we're going to go down through the PPF wood duck that I picked up, and I'll just kind of show you some stuff on that.